In this video, I will show you how to identify the graph of the equation and tell what the angle of rotation is. Now, when I say identify the graph, I mean look at this equation and classify it as a circle, an ellipse, a parabola, or a hyperbola. In order to classify, we're going to be looking at some notes. The first thing you have to decide is, do you have an xy term in the equation? If there is an xy term, then these are the notes you're going to use. You're going to go by these rules. If there is no xy term, right? If there's no b term, then you're going to go by these rules. So let's take another look back. I see a y squared and I see an x. There is no xy term. That's why we're going to look at these notes. Let's decide what a, b, and c are. Notice that a is the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of xy, which we already know is 0 because there is no xy term. And c is the coefficient of y squared. Okay, so let's see. A, remember, a is the coefficient of x squared. There is no x squared. That means a is 0. B is the coefficient of the xy term. There is no xy term. That means b is also 0. C is the coefficient of the y squared term. There's y squared. There's no number in front. That means the coefficient is 1. All right, so as far as classifying, all we needed was a and c. A is 0, c is 1. Keep that in mind. Let's look back at the notes. It says if a or c is equal to 0, then the graph is a parabola. Well, a is equal to 0. Right there, that means the graph is a parabola. So we can forget about options A and C that mentions hyperbola. The answer will either be B or D. So we already have a 50-50 chance. Now, in order to find the angle of rotation, we have to look at some more notes. All right, pause the video and write these notes down if you need to. If A equals C, the angle of rotation is automatically pi over 4. Well, we already know that is not the case. All right, A is 0, C is 1. So A does not equal C. So we read on. All right, so if A does not equal C, then we use this little formula. Tangent of 2 theta is equal to B over A minus C. Okay, so the tangent of 2 theta is going to equal B over A minus C. That means that the tangent of 2 theta is going to equal 0 over 0 minus 1. All right, that means that the tangent of 2 theta is equal to 0. So, thinking about the unit circle, remember that tangent, well, I shouldn't use x for what I'm about to say. Remember that tangent is always y over x on the unit circle. So if I'm going to get 0, the only way y over x is going to equal 0 is if y itself is equal to 0. So we are really looking for where is the y value equal to 0. And we can really just stick to the first quadrant. So looking at the first quadrant here, where is the y value equal to 0? The y value is 0 right here at 0 degrees. So that's why we know that 2 theta is going to equal 0 degrees. And then obviously if you divide both sides by 2, you're going to get theta equals 0 degrees. So that's why the answer is going to be D. Ta-da!